So today we're going to talk about sugar glider colorings and variations. The first coloring we're going to talk about is the standard gray sugar glider, which is the most commonly seen sugar glider out there right now. These sugar gliders have, as you can see, a dark markings over their entire bodies. They have a dark brown to a black stripe that runs from the base of their nose to the base of their tail. They also have bars under their ears, as you can see here. They also have an overall gray coloring. Some look really powdery and some look very brown from staining or overmarking. You'll have no white on these gliders except for their bellies and under their chins. White markings anywhere along the coat would mean they aren't a standard gray, which we'll get to later. They also have dark ears and dark markings on the face, and as well as along the feet and along the tail. And they also have a black tip on their tail. This is the classifications of standard gray. The next coloring will, of course, be Black Beauty, which is a variation of standard gray. These gliders have an overall darker appearance, almost charcoal-like. They have dark facial markings, gray bellies, black knuckles. Some have found that they have darker ears. They have overall darker facial markings. These gliders are very different than a standard gray, very noticeable. But some gliders will have lighter markings. As long as you know your glider's lines and have a good mentor and are good with colors, you'll definitely be able to tell a difference between a Black Beauty and a standard gray. The next coloring is a much newer coloring, which is Black-Faced Black Beauty, also known as a Black Phase Black Beauty. These gliders have much darker appearance than a standard gray. These gliders have a very black charcoal-like face, and extremely dark markings. These gliders have a very dark appearance and have dark faces, dark underbellies, dark fur, dark markings. These gliders, easy to tell the difference between a standard gray or even a Black Beauty and a Black Face Black Beauty. This line began with Elvis, who's owned by Lisa at Sunco Sugar Gliders. He was the first black-faced Black Beauty, and he is the founding line of this color. So this is a very newer line introduced within the last few years, and we hope to see a lot come from this coloring. The next coloring is white-faced, which is more of a patterning than a coloring. This can occur in any coloring of sugar glider. It is the lack of ear bars under the ear, and a lighter appearance in the face itself. We have found this coloring appear in just about every recessive coloring and dominant coloring. We've had white-tipped, white-faced, we've had Cremino white-faced, and we've had gray white-faced. It's an overall easy coloring to breed for since you only need one parent that is white-faced to produce a white-faced. So it's a very easy coloring because it's an easy pairing, and it's also becoming a more popular color. So these are definitely a color to look out for in the near future. The next coloring is a white-faced blonde. This coloring is easy to cover because the description's in its name. This is a blonde sugar glider, which is a lighter colored sugar glider. They have a lighter color to their fur, and it has a white face. This isn't as much as a patterning as it is a color itself. This can really only occur in a white-faced blonde. They'll have the lack of the ear bars, as you can see here, and they will also have a lighter colored fur, as you can see here. Some gliders can have a darker, lighter fur, as you can see here, but some gliders can have such light fur as this. where it's almost blending in with the head. It's almost a buttercream colored, and they really are beautiful gliders. White Face Blonde is one of the most popular gliders out there to breed for right now, but it's mainly lineage, and there's only a few lines that actually have true White Face Blondes. Our next coloring is one of the more rare colors, which is Lion. This coloring has brown markings compared to black or dark brown markings. These have a very more of a light colored brown marking. And thinner markings around the eyes and the back stripe. They're on a stick. And it gives a honey hue to the fur, which also the face under the chin makes the head look more rounded. This coloring almost looks like a stained coloring and is sometimes confused with cinnamon, but lion is one of the rarer lines out there, and not many people are breeding for lion nowadays, so this is one of the rare colorings that you'll probably see out there. White tipped. This is probably the most hated coloring among sugar gliders because it's the least understood. We haven't been breeding this color long enough to really understand if it is recessive or dominant. It really does whatever it wants to, as we've seen so far. It pops up random places. This is pretty much a patterning. It can occur in any coloring and has occurred in most colorings. It's pretty much when a glider has a white tip on its tail. It's pretty much all it is. It's occurred in Caminos, white-faced, classic grays, mosaics, but it's also mosaic patterning. So you really need to know your lines and have a good breeding mentor when breeding for white tips, because if you're breeding with a mosaic line, you won't know if it's a white tip or minimal marked mosaic. So they are beautiful colorings that you can get from a few hairs to a full inch of a white tip to 3 inches. So it really is a color we need to breed. A little longer to figure out exactly what it wants to do, but this really seems to be one of the nicer colorings nowadays. So it's an up-and-coming coloring, so we shall see. Please be sure to stay tuned for part 2 of Sugar Glider colorings, Mosaic variations. All you need to know about mosaics when it comes to their different patternings. So see you guys soon.